As YouTube boxing has grown in popularity, the boxing skill level of these YouTube boxers has only gone up, leading to some crazy fights. And with a crazy fight, obviously comes a crazy knockout. Sometimes these knockouts are absolutely terrible and you wonder, why the hell did I even just watch that? And sometimes they're so spectacular that you really have to look at yourself for a second and think, damn, I really just watched that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to present to you the top 10 best knockouts in YouTube boxing history up to this point. Coming in at number 10, we got DK Money versus Virus. Or Virus. I don't know, he's Spanish. This fight was crazy. It's one of the most recent fights in YouTube boxing, actually, taking place on Misfits 007. And this knockout is insane. You gotta feel bad for DK Money, man. The guy clearly put effort into training. He comes in the ring, absolutely smokes Virus for the first round. Second round, gets a knockdown on Virus. Everyone's going crazy. Oh, DK Money's changed. He switched it up. He's actually a good boxer now. Virus comes in. Bang, bang, bang. Takes the clinch. Gets out the clinch. Left uppercut. It's done. DK Money got knocked out again. I mean, this guy's chin has got to just be made out of pure glass and rubber. I mean, it's literally every time he gets hit, he fucking falls down. But regardless, the way Virus came back from getting knocked down and the shit kicked out of him to come back and throw that big uppercut and win the fight with a big knockout like that, I mean, that is crazy, bro. And definitely deserving of number 10 on this list. Coming in at number 9, we got another recent fight. It's Badboy Beaman versus JST. This fight took place on SCB 002, in which streamer Badboy Beaman absolutely smoked Jay with a big straight left hook in the corner of the ring. On his way down, Jay caught an uppercut as well. It was crazy. He was out for the count and he stayed on the floor for a while. It's very clear that Badboy Beaman hits extremely hard and he's going to be a very big problem in the heavyweight division of YouTube boxing. Crab walking in at number 8 is Jake Paul versus Anisong Gibb. Yeah, get used to hearing the word Jake Paul, by the way. Anisong Gibb was the favourite to win this fight, actually, which looking back is kind of crazy, but Gibb came out with 2 wins under his belt while Jake only had the 1. This was the second ever no head guarded professional YouTube boxing match, and in some ways it did not disappoint. Anisong Gibb came out with a very pressure-like style, trying to put the pressure on Jake, push the pace, but what he didn't count on is that Jake would actually be a fairly decent boxer and just counter Gibb constantly and hit him hard. I don't think Anisong Gibb really clocked how much no head guard with 10-ounce gloves would hurt and how much it would do damage to him, because he just ran at Jake basically and fed into Jake's hands as Jake hit him with left hook, right hand, and knocked Gibb down 3 times to eventually claim that 3 knockdown rule KO. This was the fight that stirred on the rivalry between KSI and Jake Paul and brought the whole thing on to begin with. Originally, it was KSI is too good for Jake. He beat his older brother and Jake struggled with KSI's younger brother. So, you know, it was pretty obvious KSI would win. But then Jake doing that to KSI's sparring partner, absolutely crazy, and set up a lot of the future of YouTube boxing to come. Vibing in at number 7, we have the one and only Slim versus FaZe Temper, ladies and gentlemen. Looking back, it's crazy how FaZe Temper was such a favourite in this fight. Slim was a massive underdog. And then for Slim to go out there and not only win as the massive underdog, but knock out FaZe Temper is crazy. Especially in the way he did it. He put him out to sleep. This made Slim go from a relatively unknown YouTube boxer who just stepped in on 2 weeks' notice to fight FaZe Temper into a Misfits boxing roster mainstay who would co-headline KSI's next fight against FaZe Temper himself, funnily enough. Out here at number 6, we got Jacob Paul versus Ben Askren. The reason this knockout is so infamous is because it's the first ever time a YouTuber took out someone who was a professional fighter. Yes, Ben Askren was never going to win that fight against most YouTube boxers, because let's be real, the guy's like 1,000 years old as hell. You know, he's got the hip missing or some shit. He's really slow. He was never a striker to begin with as an MMA fighter. He was a wrestler. He was kind of fat. He didn't care about winning. But regardless, Jake Paul knocked out a MMA fighter, and that blew the world up. I remember before this fight happened, the hype for the build-up was crazy. Everyone thought Ben Askren was going to win. News stations were saying that if Ben Askren didn't knock out Jake Paul, then like something was wrong with the world. And then Jake Paul goes out in round 1 and smokes Ben Askren with a big right hand. Crazy. It set the world on fire, and the commentary was super good too, and it paved the way for big time YouTube boxers like Jake Paul, KSI, Logan Paul to fight other professional fighters and not just other YouTubers. Number 5 has one of the most well-regarded actual full-on fights in YouTube boxing, and the knockout we're talking about is Dean versus Walid Sharks. Dean the Great versus Walid Sharks. This fight is crazy good. Walid Sharks comes in cold, punches up Dean the Great, knocks him down, I believe, twice or 3 times, just for Dean to take that comeback and hit him hard in the face. Walid getting up staggered, goes to his corner, the ref waves it off because he didn't turn around, and Dean wins by a knockout like that. It is crazy. I got to put this at number 5 purely for the spectacle of the fight. The fight was crazy good to watch. If you haven't seen this fight, go watch it on YouTube. It's crazy. Dean the Great versus Walid Sharks, number 5. Watching an arrogant little cunt with a family vlog channel getting the shit kicked out of him is amazing. And that's what number 4 is. It's an Eson Gibb versus Austin McBroom 1. This fight was crazy. But above that, the knockout, madness. Austin McBroom knocks down Gibb once in, I believe, the first or second round. Gibb comes out, knocks him down 4 times. He says, hey, yeah. I'll have what he's having, times 4. Bang, 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 bang. And then on the 5th, knocks McBroom out, cold. McBroom came in super arrogant, super confident. You know, he thought he was going to do what Jake Paul did. Gabe came through, bang, bang, bosh, is out, son. Austin McBroom's wife was screaming in the audience. Music to my ears, baby. I slurp up them screams like, jelly.
Body! 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 Head!
Yeah! Alright, now we got one at number 3 that isn't as crazy now as it was at the time, but in January, when SaltPappy knocked out Josh Bruckner, the supposed MMA fighter, everyone thought was going to smoke SaltPappy. That really put him on the map. I mean, you had people saying he was the pound-for-pound number 1 YouTube boxer, that he could beat Jake Paul, he could beat KSI. Obviously, all that hype died down when he lost to Anthony Taylor, but still, you gotta say, when SaltPappy did this shit, I stood up from my seat. I was watching it live, I stood up from my seat, I was like, oh shit. He might be the real deal here, ladies and gentlemen. Knockouts like this is what creates stars in YouTube boxing. SaltPappy understood that, and overnight, after this knockout, he became one of the biggest names in influencer boxing. And creeping into second place is, of course, KSI, when he knocked out FaZe Temper in just 1 round on Misfits 004. Up to this point, we hadn't seen KSI get a clean knockout on anyone yet. Of course, the Joe Weller was a TKO with head guards, Logan Paul pushed him to the limits, and he only won on a split decision. Swarms and Pineda weren't really about the fighting and just tried to run the whole time, so the knockout wasn't clean. But then when you put someone like FaZe Temper in front of KSI, who will fight and will take the damage to throw a punch, KSI shows what he really can do in that ring. But what made this knockout crazy is the way that KSI did it. He started bouncing on his toes. Everyone in the audience was wondering, what the hell is happening right now? Why is he doing this? And then he does what he likes to call the flyby, where he hit Temper with that straight right coming in and put him onto the canvas with a left hook, and he was done, out cold. It wasn't like Slim where he got up. No. He stayed on that floor. KSI proved that he has knockout power just like a Jake Paul, and proved himself to be a contender as the number 1 in YouTube boxing. But in first place, and of course, the number 1 YouTube boxing knockout is the punch that broke the internet when Jake Paul hit Tyron Woodley in their rematch with that right hook and completely shut down Tyron Woodley's nervous system. The guy wasn't rolling around, he wasn't trying to get up, he was flatlined. He literally was a plank of wood. There was no movement about him. Okay, it was one of the cleanest, coldest knockouts, not only in YouTube boxing, but just in boxing in general. It was insane. It was the height and peak of Jake Paul's boxing career when he did that to Tyron Woodley. And no YouTuber has surpassed it yet, and I seriously don't think any of them ever will, because it was such a perfect knockout. I don't want to call it lucky, but I mean, holy moly, was it crazy. And Jake Paul definitely deserves to be number one on this list. I mean, just watch it. Like, damn. Thank you all for watching this video. Please tell me in the comments what your personal favorite YouTube boxing knockout moment was. Goodbye!